goes up. The teams that leave the circuit will set off on the formation lap in just a moment for race 2 of 3 here this weekend at the 3-round series for 2023. The all-new, the inaugural running of the first European Continental Championship. Luca Badoer, 1992 Formula 3000 champion of Europe in the car I've told you about many times, the Krypton Motorsport Reynard 92D. And of course, a Grand Prix career stretching over the best part of a decade, heartbreakingly denied a podium in the rain at the Nürburgring in the Minardi car back in the late 1990s. His boy Brundle starts out of grid 6 for the Van Amersfoort Racing Team car 15. Consistently was the McLaren affiliated driver. Brundle, the fastest driver on the circuit yesterday, trying to break through for a maiden victory in the Euro 4 series. Akshay Bora to the right of your screen. We'll check the championship order for you in just a moment as the field set off. A slightly cooler morning here, just 8 degrees Celsius. We are expecting the sun to break through the fog, which is already lifting, as Akshay leads the field down this famous run down into turn 1. Host venue of the Spanish Formula 1 Grand Prix since 1991 when the circuit was built. Taking over from Jerez. And of course, the famous Montjuic Street Circuit, which hosted the ill-fated 1975 Spanish Formula 1 Grand Prix, when Lella Lombardi became the first and only woman to score a point in a Formula 1 World Championship race almost half a century ago. Just one too many deaths, sadly, at the Montjuic Park Street Circuit, which does still exist as you look at Arvid Lindblad. He is the championship leader going through. The first round of the Euro 4 Championship taking place at Monza. We also raced at Mugello. The 3-round series for 2023 expanding to 4 provisionally in 2024. The championship to be decided here today. So it's a double points round of the final round, or for the final round of the series. Formula 1 point scoring system for round 1 and round 2. We double that. So from 25 for a win, it is now 50 for a win. And with that, we take a brief look at the championship. Arvid Lindblad, 122 points. Akshay Bora, 121. Ugo is P3 in the championship, 107 points. James, position 4 on 95 points. Kasper Stuka, the newly crowned Italian champion. The pole is not racing here this weekend, but he does still sit 5th in the series. Of course, he will drop down. Brundle is 6th on 44.5 points. Tuukka Tappinen, 42 points. Then we go back to Zach, position 8 in the championship, 36 points. Dominguez, 28. Rashid is on 23 points, 10th in the series. Freddie Slater, Nicola Lacorte looking for a strong run for the Italian this morning, ahead of Gianmarco Bredel on 14 points. So there is Akshay Bora. Car 31, the first American-born driver on the grid. The second, of course, is Ugo, who sits immediately behind him. A double points final round of the series. Race 2 of 3 here at Barcelona in Spain. The first running of the Euro 4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion. The fluorescent yellow machine of the Mexican car 86, that's Diego de la Torre. His AKM Motorsport teammate, Tina Hausmann, as Lynn Jordenuis spins coming onto the grid in cool conditions here in Spain. Lights it up, and he's parked it in the gravel in the background. Come on, Lynn. Oh, well done, mate. A nervous start for the Dutch driver, and will take his place on grid 16. I'm not sure he was allowed to, but anyway, there is the Dutch driver. There is the green flag at the back of the grid. The 5 red lights here in Spain for the penultimate time at Barcelona. We race a rocket launch from James from grid 2. Diego de la Torre has stalled in the background, avoided by everyone, as James goes down the inside to try and take the lead away from the pole sitter. Fabulous start from the Ferrari Junior. Bora sweeps around the outside, but it's Jimmy James who goes position 1. Lindblad tries to take 3rd place away, but the Red Bull Junior has to sit on the outside, still fighting with Ugo, and he does take the McLaren Junior, who is still, remember, 3rd in the championship. Wharton leads. Lindblad on the back of Bora. Fabulous start from the Australian, and the same can be said for Lindblad. But now Oh, he's into the gravel. Oh, no. The Londoner is off. Rejoins at the back of the pack. Lindblad, the championship leader, remember. He was helped into the gravel. We'll try and get a replay for you in just a moment as Rashid Al-Dahedi swarms all over the back of the 20 US racing car of Zachary David. Wharton goes through, then it's Bora. Tappinen, Ugachuko, good start from Nicola Lacorte. The Venomous Hot Racing trio going through. Brando Badoea, the first of which, Giacomo Pedrini also with a good start. And Freddie Slater in position 6 in car 51 for the Prema Racing team. Wharton with a nice lead, 0.6 of a second back to Bora. There's Rashid on the inside, there's Pradell on the outside. The Australian now in the marbles will lose 2 positions. Watch this. Lindblad on the outside of Bora. They went wheel to wheel. There is contact between both the American and English driver. Wow. Lindblad did superbly well to rejoin. He's come across the line, or he's about to in the background, in 17th place. Pradell fighting with Pedrini, Lynn Hordenuus. As we get news that the Dutch driver is under investigation for the starting procedure. Contact in the background. Pradell is turned around. Pradell coming together with Giacomo Pedrini, and they're both stranded on the second lap of the race. Damage to the Italian's car, and for Gianmarco as well. Gianmarco Pedrini, 53, and Giacomo Pedrini, 53, Gianmarco Pradell in 12 for the US racing team. Still looking to rejoin. The safety car is on standby for the moment. If they can restart, we'll give them the chance. James Wharton has got the race lead by 0.5 of a second. The safety car still on standby, but that sentence is now made redundant because it has been deployed out onto the circuit, and this is the reason why. Brundle going through, the slightest of contact between Pedrini and Pradell. It was a low-speed impact. They clashed wheels going down into turn 1. Not for the first time this week, and a very light hit, but it has caused terminal damage, you would think, to both Pedrini's car and also Pradell. Nice driving from Frederick Lund to avoid that accident in car 30. So the safety car comes out onto the circuit, trying to pick up the race leader. There is the order to the left of your screen. Wharton, Bora and Tuukka Tappinen. Giacomo and Gianmarco are both out. Disappointing run for Gianmarco Pradell, his first year in car racing. And the young rookie, the second generation racer, Giacomo Pedrini, also out. 1.5 Italian drivers exit race 2 here in Barcelona. Arvid Lindblad has just pulled down into pit lane, I can tell you as well. So there looks to be damage to the Red Bull Junior car. There is Gianmarco from Sydney, Australia, out of race 2 after a disappointing run in race 1 yesterday. There is young Giacomo Pedrini, helmet off for the VAR team. Car 53 is out, the young second generation racer. His race lasts just over 1 lap here in Barcelona. So we'll check the order behind the, I have to be biased here, the magnificent Nissan R35 GTR safety car. There is Bora in position 2, James in P1. Bora, you would think, would have to assume the championship lead if he can hold on to that position. Still the majority of this race to run. So it is Wharton, Bora. There's Tuukka Tappinen, position 3. Ahead of Ugo Ugachuko. Super start from Nicola Lacorte. In 47, Slater, Ricky Lou, Zach David. That is Rashid going through. The Huawei-backed driver from Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. That will be his final race of 2023. We'll take a look at the start. Super launch from James down the inside of Bora. Went up the inside and he would not be headed, just absolutely flat to the floor. Bora tried to intimidate the Ferrari Junior, that wasn't going to happen, so he swept around the outside and into second place. Good start at this point from Lindblad on the inside of Tuukka Tavanen. Went around Ugo Ugachuko. That was Lacorte in the background, already up into position 6 at this point. And then up into Repsol, turn 6. On the outside of Bora, slight contact between Akshay and Arvid. And the Londoner was in the gravel, and now he's parked down in pit lane. Pedrini and Pradel, the slightest touches. 3 times down through into turn 1. And both Gianmarco and Giacomo are out. Safety car out onto the circuit for that incident between Gianmarco and Giacomo. There's Tina Houseman going through just ahead of Aurelio Nobels, Diego Della Torre, and you can see in the background Arvid Lindblad. Well, the safety car, something of a blessing for the Red Bull Junior, has rejoined at the back of the pack. That is Zach in car 20 in P8. So we'll see what Lindblad can do from the back of the grid here. Another lap under the safety car here at Barcelona. Race 2 of 3, the final round, the 3-round challenge series for 2023. The first European F4 Continental Series. There is Arvid, car 23, just sits in behind Diego Della Torre in the brightest colour, the brightest car here. The AKM Motorsport driver from Mexico. As the sun does break through the clouds, a really cool morning here. So we have to give some slack to Lynn Hodenuis coming onto the straight on a very cool morning, on a cool circuit. There is Aurelio Nobels behind Tina Houseman. Lynn Hodenuis, after that unfortunate moment, has recovered. He's actually in position 11 behind Brundle Baduea, but Lynn, who's been racing in Porsche Carrera Cup as well as Spanish F4 throughout 2023, is under investigation. Safety car still on track. We expect it to come into pit lane at the end of this lap. There is Ugo, the McLaren Junior. His final Formula 4 race, at least here in Europe. Does throw the championship open. Arvid Lindblad, 122 points, the championship leader, but he's down in 16th position. Akshay Bora, after making contact, as Brando goes through in position 10. So Akshay on 121 points. Ugo, 107. James on 95, but looking to launch up onto 145 points. A double points. Final round of the Euro 4 Championship presented by WSK Promotion. There's the graphic at the bottom of your screen. Confirmation that the fastest car on the circuit, at least in a straight line, the R35 GTR, will pull into pit lane in just a moment, and we will race green at the end of the first third of race 2, round 3, the final round, the double points round of the 2023 Euro 4 Championship. As James backs the field up, Akshay right behind him. Then it's Tuukka, so the Ferrari Juniors first and third. The US racing driver who started on pole position for race 1 yesterday and race 2 here this morning. Right beneath the rear wing of car 13. Akshay looking to launch as James stares at his left side rear mirror. The safety car accelerates. The green flag is now flying on the start-finish straight. It is now green. They cannot pass until they pass or cross the start-finish line. And James goes. Bypasses the chicane, which has been removed for the running of the 2023 Spanish Formula 1 Grand Prix. You can see the green flag still waving, and James comes across the line now. He starts lap 4 in position 1, tries to break the slipstream as they all do coming down the straight. Zach on the attack, tries to take Ricky Lou and Rashid Al-Bahedi down the inside as well. Contact on the inside, Rashid has lost the front wing. Freddie Slater in trouble as well. Rashid, without the front wing, is about to be passed by Brundle Baduea, who was the fastest driver on the circuit consistently yesterday. Picks up one position, picks up another one. Rashid trying to race back to the pits, but he's just been passed as well now by Lynn Hodenuis. Frederick Lund, the third of the VAR trio going through. Rashid without the front wing. about to be passed. There's Tina down the inside of the Emirati. Aurelia Nobel's trying to take her as well. James position 1, Akshay 2, Tuukka Tappinen in 3rd place. Tina goes by Aurelia Nobel's, and there is Arvid Lindblad. So the championship leader picks up a couple of positions at least here as well. He's now up into position 14. It'll be 13 in a moment. Wharton already with a nice lead down into turn 10. There is Tuukka Tappinen, the Ferrari Juniors 1st and 3rd. Bora in 2nd place. After one of the most sedate races yesterday, as Ricky Lou goes through, he's up into position 6 in car 66. It has kicked off here this morning in the Catalan capital. Lindblad has got by Aurelia Nobels. We'll get the slipstream from Tina Halsman. On the restart, Rashid Albahedi. A move down the inside. Freddie Slater going through. So it was Zachary David there. There's Tina Halsman, who still holds off Lindblad for the moment. That's nice driving from Tina with the championship leader right behind her. Ugo, car 3, position 4. Tuukka in car 8 in 3rd place. And James starting to pull away as we approach the end of the first half of this race 2 here. The gap is 0.8 of a second. Freddie Slater pulls down into pit lane meanwhile. There is Zach David in position 7. Super drive from Ricky Lou. There's Fast Freddie. Not so much here this morning. He's got damage. It looks to be a punctured right rear. And the Englishman into pit lane. His morning may well be over. The Prema Racing team about to go to work. This is Nicola Lacorte. Did not start race 1 yesterday, but has come storming through the field. The Tuscan driver up into P5. He looks good here this morning. In car 47, there's the McLaren Junior, Ugo in car 3. Being caught by the Chetila Racing driver. The McLaren Junior, 3rd in the British Formula 4 Series in 2022. 2nd in the Italian Championship, which wrapped up in the eternal city of Rome last weekend. He'll be under attack in just a moment from Nicola Lacorte. Tappinen, as he was yesterday, sideways. There's the US racing duo, Ricky Lou, Zachary David, Brundle Badoer in P8 ahead of Lynn Hodenuis and Frederick Lund in position 10. Here comes the attack from Ugo on the back of Tappinen. The Ferrari Junior versus the McLaren Junior. They touch. The slightest contact between the two Prema Racing teammates. Nicola Lacorte might take the both of them. The Prema drivers in position 1 with James, and in 3, 4 and 5, they go side by side. Tappinen still in position 3. Look at Nicola. The Tuscan is flying. Ricky Lou and Zachary David, the US racing duo, trying to drag themselves into this battle as well. Tuukka on the inside, the American on the outside. Nicola is just watching this. Down into turn 1, the slightest contact. Almost a replay of what happened to Giacomo and Gianmarco just a few laps prior. The slightest kiss, they continue on. It looks as though both of those cars are still okay. We continue to race. Lacorte, the Tuscan, sideways as they bottom out over the ripple strip, racing down into turn 10. James, Akshay, back to Tuukka Tappinen. Ugo, Nicola Lacorte. If Nicola cannot get by his Prema Racing teammates, Ricky Lou and Zachary David will both attack. Super start from Nicola. His father Roberto arriving here at the Spanish circuit just a few days after racing at Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta in the United States of America with the IMSA Series 7 days ago. Would be nothing but impressed with his boy as Ricky Lou sideways big time coming onto the straight. That will cost the Chinese driver. Car 66 still in position 6. Down into turn 1, Tuukka keeps the car straight this time. Ugo works the wheel. The gap is 1 second between James and Akshay. So James, if he can win this race, he'll go up onto 145 points. 36 would be awarded to Akshay Bora. So the final, the championship, would be decided in race 3 this afternoon. The sun now comes out to shine here in Spain. Finally, after a cool, cloudy, foggy morning in the Catalan capital. Hugo still in position 4. It's a gap down to 9/10 of a second between Wharton and Bora. There is Nicola, a race winner in his national series at the first round of the Italian Championship in Imola, at Imola at the start of the season. As we said, Hugo third in the British Championship in 2022. James, who started the 2023 year, winning the United Arab Emirates Formula 4 Championship. Nicola, the rookie, in P5. Ricky Lou, Zach David, super driving from Ricky Lou. Of course, has been mentored by, over the past few seasons by the 2015 World Kart Racing champion Carol Bash, who's also racing himself with the Olymp Audi team in the GT Open International Championship. Carol, who took the title at the Luconca Murolacese World Circuit in the south of Italy for the Cosmic Racing team back in 2015, has mentored, has coached young Ricky over the past couple of seasons, and the Chinese driver for the German-US racing team here in Spain is not far off a podium. Tappanen sideways, as he was for much of yesterday's race, absolutely torturing the rear Pirelli tyres. Turns in though, very sharp turn in from car 8. Hugo, meanwhile, works the wheel. The gap is still 1 second. Nicola Lacorte with a purple sector. The young Tuscan has gone faster than anybody in that part of the circuit just now. Nicola is flying. He's 2 places off the podium. We saw a glimpse of his parents just before the start. The Chetila Racing team driver in car 47, a big future ahead of him. In fact, all of these drivers with a strong future ahead of them. You may be asking, where is Arvid Lindblad? Well, did rejoin. He's up in position, well, only 11. Has finally got by Aurelia Nobels, trying to take Frederick Lund in car 30, who's in position 10. So Arvid Lindblad very unlikely to win race 2. It will come down to race 3 later this afternoon. We go into the final third. Race 2, round 3, the championship final. The first ever running of the European Continental F4 Series. James in P1, the gap out to 1.2 seconds now. Tappanen stares at the right side mirror, tries to break the toe. The American right behind him. They're both pulled away ever so slightly that time round, despite that fastest purple sector from Nicola. Zach has got by Ricky Lou. So the Maltese-based Filipino driver now up into P6. 66 back into 7. Lynn Herdenues goes by Brundle Butherware, who's not having a good run here this morning. A couple of fastest laps in race 1 yesterday for the newly or recently announced McLaren affiliated driver, Hugo, a full McLaren junior. And Hugo Chuku in car 3 in position 4 will start on pole position for race 3 this afternoon. Lacorte's car bottoms out. The US racing duo starting to lose a little bit of time to the Prema trio. There is James Wharton. The gap 1.134 seconds, controlling the pace in this second race of the final European Continental race of the year. Wharton, can he take his second Formula 4 championship race or title here today in Spain? Rashid Al-Dahedi, after pitting for a new front wing, there is the Emirati, does the right thing, pulls over the blue flag, flies for car 14. Bora goes by as well. Good sportsmanship, good driving there from Rashid Al-Dahedi. He knows he's out of contention. He is a lap down. Still circulating though in position 15. He'll be back for the final race of the European Series this afternoon in the Huawei-backed car 14. About to have his Prema teammates come by, still being led by Tuukka Tappinen, Ugo Ugochukwu and Nicola Lacorte. James, the gap still stays at 1.2 seconds. Rashid does the right thing. Nicola goes by, car 47 in P5. The final third, race 2. The third of 3 rounds, the double points final round for 2023. James, the United Arab Emirates Formula 4 champion, the Ferrari Junior in position 1. The Ferrari Junior, that's Tuukka Tappinen, car 8 in P3, just ahead of the McLaren Junior. Akshay Bora for the German US racing team, who won the Italian Series 7 days ago in the eternal city of Rome at Vallelunga with the Polish driver Kasper Stulka, who's watching on this morning. Dzień dobry, Kasper. Still haven't tried that Zurich yet, mate. His teammate Akshay Bora in second place. We'll check the gap next time. As James comes across the line to start lap 11. The gap, 1.3 seconds, pulls away from Bora. This is almost a replay of what happened yesterday, but James is not under investigation this time. A perfect start as he drove it down the inside of Bora. The Americans in second and fourth. Fabulous camera work from the team here in Spain. You can read the McLaren logo on the familiar silver bell helmet of the driver born in New York, USA, Ugo Ugochukwu. Still in fourth place, a position off the podium, has just dropped off Nicola Lacorte ever so slightly, who himself is starting to be caught by Zachary David. Lindblad still outside the points in position 11. So 50 points for a race win would put, you just do some mathematics here quickly, James on 145 points would leapfrog Arvid, who at the moment would gain 0. Coming out of turn 10, the part of the Spanish circuit, recently used for the World Rallycross Championship. This fabulous facility built back in the early 1990s, hosting the cycling at the 1992 Olympic Games, which were also held here in the Catalan capital, which featured arguably, no, undoubtedly, the most spectacular ever lighting of the Olympic flame. Look it up on YouTube, it's worth seeing. Whether it was legitimate or not, well, make up your own mind. It was 3 decades ago, as Ugo ranges up on the back of Tuukka, who stares at the right side mirror. The American tries the outside. Now an opportunity for Nicola in the background as well. They're both sideways on the exit of turn 2 and turn 3. Spectacular from the Finn. He holds off the American, his teammate for the moment. James at 1.1 seconds. Bora has not given up on this. 5:50 plus 1 lap on the clock. Race 2, the final round of the inaugural running of the Euro 4 Championship here in Spain, presented by WSK Promotion. A final attack from Ugo Ugochukwu on the back of Tuukka Tappinen. Zachary David still in 6th ahead of Ricky Lou. Lynn Herdenuis, what a recovery for the Dutch driver, for the Dutch team. Ahead of his 2 VAR teammates, Brandel Bothoer and Frederick Lund. Arvid Lindblad still outside the points is the championship leader, who was testing here in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. The official test for the Prema Racing team just a couple of weeks ago, 10 days ago in fact. Arvid came into this, the penultimate race of the European season, as the championship leader. As it stands, will get 0 out of race 2. Ugo rides the ripple strip, tries to get the slipstream from Tuukka Tappinen. 4:44 plus 1 lap on the clock. James starts at lap 13 in car 13. The gap comes down to 9/10 of a second. Bora is catching Wharton. Ugo attacks the back of Tuukka Tappinen. Swings to the inside, now on the outside down into turn 1. Tappanen's superb under defence, but he's slow on the exit of turn 2. Puts the car in the middle of the road. No problem for the American. Ugo on the marbles though. What a move, he's done it. Superb from Ugo. The McLaren Junior with the move of the race. Car 3 goes through into position 3. Tappanen in trouble now. He's on the marbles, back into 4th place. What a pass from the American. Tappanen fires it down the inside, locks up the inside left. Nicola in P5 trying to drag himself into this battle. That was a fantastic pass from Ugo. Now up into position 3 in car 3. The American is on the podium, and with that gains points, double points for this final round of the Euro 4 Championship. He's not out of this either. James, the gap is 9/10 of a second down into turn 10. There's the US racing duo behind the Prema Racing Team trio. James P1, Bora P2. We'll check the gap last time round. Well, next time around, incidentally, Arvid Lindblad, last time round of 43.758 versus James, a 42.313. So we expect that there is damage as well to Arvid Lindblad's car. He's not going as quick as he has been throughout the entire 2023 season, of course. Into the gravel, off the start, still circulating, but way down in position 11. The Prema trio fight for the final step of the podium. The gap 1.1 seconds now from James. He pulls away and says, this race is mine, boys. Akshay in second, Ugo in third. Tuka, Nicola, Zachary David, Ricky Lou. Lynn Herdenuis is still ahead of the best of the Van Amersfoort Racing trio. Brundle, Frederick Lund. Incidentally, Freddie Slater has not rejoined the race. The former World Kart Racing champion, the current European KZ2 Kart Racing champion with the Birla team. The driver from the British Midlands, so much success with Ricky Flynn Motorsport. In his World Kart racing career, we saw him on the podium countless times in WSK World Karting, the WSK Euro Series, the Supermaster Series in OK Junior and in Senior OK. We'll get nothing out of this. Gianmarco Pradel, Giacomo Pedrini, also out on the second lap of the race. The dying stages of race 2, so we'll take it to race 3 almost certainly this afternoon. Bora from pole position in car 31. Starting the penultimate lap of race 2 here, the Euro 4 Championship here in Spain. The gap last time, 1.1 seconds, now we're down to 1.3. James has got this under control. Down into turn 1. No mistake from the Ferrari Junior, super talented. 5th in the KZ2 World Cup for the Paralympic Motorsport team a couple of seasons ago. Despite that penalty yesterday, we put that aside after a turn 1 incident forced off the road, but it was a perfect drive, and he is repeating that here this morning. Tough as nails. He's the boy from Melbourne. The Ferrari Junior quick as well, absolutely faultless. The dying stages of race 2. Coming up to 9 o'clock local time. That's Sunday evening back in James' hometown of Melbourne. The city which hosted one of the biggest Formula One Grand Prix races in history earlier on this year. James, of course, hoping to be on the grid, as are many of these drivers. In a couple of years' time, he's acquitting himself superbly in what is his final European Formula 4 Continental Championship race. Penultimate lap. It is the last lap board next time round. As he comes down the hill, the gap still 1.1 seconds back to Bora, the pole sitter. They bypass the chicane as we've done, thankfully, throughout all of 2023. Just 4,650 metres to go. The final lap of the race for the Ferrari Junior. as it stands, Akshay Bora would take the championship lead on 157 points. James would be second in the series on 145 points. We'll take it down to race 3 this afternoon. We race in Spain, 4:30, the final European Championship race of 2023. For many of these drivers, it is their final ever race in Formula 4. Bora will be the championship leader almost certainly. James will be second, trying to take his second Formula 4 title for 2023. Let's hope he's not denied, as he cruelly was at Paul Ricard in the south of France in the Italian Championship. From the bottom of the world, 20,000 kilometers away, his grandmother Sandra watching on, his parents Shane and Jeanette, and also, of course, his sister Jacqueline. We can't forget her. His biggest fans about to see a victory here in Spain, almost certainly in car 13. He goes down into turn 10 for the final time. It's okay, Shane, don't panic, he'll do it. He is being caught by Akshay Bora, though. The gap down to a second. A faultless drive for the Australian. Can almost coast from here. Bora hasn't given up, though. The final few corners, the final lap, race 2. The Euro 4 Championship here in the Catalan capital. Rounds the final corner. That checkered flag is about to wave. The boy from Melbourne, Australia, the Ferrari Junior, wins it and puts himself into contention for the 2023 Euro 4 Championship. Bora second place, and with that will take the championship lead. Will decide the title later this afternoon here in Spain. Bora will lead the championship title from James Wharton, but the Australian takes race 2 here at the home of the Spanish Formula 1 Grand Prix. Bora second. Hugo with that super move towards the end of the race. Car 3, position 3 for the McLaren Junior, head of Tappinen, Lacorte, Zachary David, Ricky Lou, Lynn Herdenuis. Good recovery from the Dutchman. Brando Badoer and Frederick Lund, Arvid Lindblad, who came into race 2 as the championship leader, position 11 and 0 points from his penultimate Formula 4 race. The race winner, car 13, ahead of car 31. It is James, who will stand on the top step of the podium. So James Wharton takes his third victory in the Euro 4 Championship, wins it from Bora. Then it was Ugo Chukwu, Tappinen, Nicola Lacorte. Good drive from the Tuscan. Then we go back to Zach, who headed home at Ricky Lou. Good drive from Ricky ahead of Lynn Herdenuis. After that indiscretion coming onto the grid, recovered superbly to head home. Brando Badoer, Frederick Lund, Arvid Lindblad, P11. Aurelia Nobels, P12, beats home Tina Hausman and Diego Della Torre. Rashid Al-Bahedi a lap down after pitting for a new front wing. And the retirements, Freddie Slater, and on the second lap of the race, Gianmarco Pradel and Giacomo Pedrini. The gap in the end, 7/10 of a second, so Bora almost took half a second out of Wharton. James was controlling the pace here in the second race of the weekend. Picks up P1 for the third time in the Euro 4 Championship. Second in the series now, so 157. This is provisional, of course. Put an asterisk beside these comments. Bora 157 going into race 3. James on 145. The title to be decided in race 3 this afternoon here in Spain. James wins race 2, the final round of the Euro 4 Championship for 2023. The Ferrari Junior, the all-road management driver, P1. Congratulated by Freddie Slater. Great sportsmanship from the young Englishman. He did well, didn't he, Robbie? His longtime manager, Robbie Cubbins, congratulating young James Wharton in his penultimate European Formula 4 race. There's Hugo, takes P1 and second in the championship. On your mate. The highlights of race 2, James Wharton. Well, they say you can't win the race off the start. He almost did. He launched it from grid 2, went down the inside of the poles here to Akshay Bora, went wheel to wheel. Bora on the outside tried to intimidate the Australian. That was not going to happen. And right there, James says, this race is mine, guys. Goes through, Bora tries to attack. No chance, there's Wharton. And then it kicked off. Lindblad up into P3, tried to take position 2 as well. Went wheel to wheel with Bora, who would ultimately finish in second place. Lindblad in the gravel. Down into turn 1, Giacomo Vedrini and Gianmarco Pradel, the slightest touch between the Italian and Australian drivers. Too much damage, and that brought out the safety car. For the only time so far here this weekend, James Wharton's super restart as Ugo Chukwu tried to attack. This was for the first time to go by onto the podium. Tuka Tappanen closing the door, no problem for the American. Around the outside for the McLaren Junior with a super pass. Out front, Bora cut the lead down to 0.7 of a second, but Wharton was not going to be intimidated, let alone pass. Jimmy James takes victory in the penultimate European F4 race of 2023. The podium here as the sun tries to break through the fog and cloud here in Spain. Ugo in position 3 for the McLaren Junior, who is also in contention. We believe, quickly doing some mathematics, he will be 3rd in the championship. Akshay Bora, P2 in the race. He's the new championship leader, just ahead of James Wharton, who takes his 3rd victory in the Euro 4 Championship for 2023. Mr. Raffaele Gianmaria, representing the FIA-affiliated Italian Arci Sport, presents the 3rd place trophy to Ugo, 2nd to Akshay, and P1 for Jimmy James. The Ferrari Junior presented with the P1 trophy from Rafa, who once was a Ferrari Formula 1 test driver, if you do count 3 laps at Yas Marina in Kimi's car about 1 decade ago. Not yet, Ugo. Fantastic to hear, even if it was slightly abbreviated. The Australian national anthem, no bias whatsoever, as James Wharton takes victory in the penultimate European race of 2023. Akshay Bora is the championship leader, the title to be decided here in the Catalan capital later this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage. We'll see you for race 3, the final race of the 2023 championship season. On behalf of everyone here in the Catalan capital, we'll see you for the Euro 4 Championship final live from Spain at 4:30 local time. We'll see you then.